when you won the NCAA title at A&M, did you ever see yourself at that point in this position? I mean, how far or close does that feel at this point?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think it's been a goal of mine since I was a kid, to be a professional tennis player and to win a Grand Slam and be number one has always been, my dream goal. So yeah, in college, I wanted to do that. I don't know if I would have said I fully, thought it would happen. Obviously, I thought I could give myself a chance if everything went right. NCAAs was an amazing moment for us to have that accomplishment with the team and be there with Steve and Bob and my partner Jeff was a really cool moment. Obviously, from that we got a wild card into the U.S. Open, which was cool to be at that level and compete against the guys that were making runs at those big tournaments. So from there, I thought my skill set was tailored to do well in doubles. It just I think once you started playing the tour for several years, you start to realize how much the little things matter and how thin the margins are. So from there, it's having some things go your way and just doing everything right. A lot of times when you feel like it's not going to happen, to keep persevering and pushing forward.
Yeah. So what is it about the French Open that lends itself so much to your skill set? Because it seems like that's the one that you've
Sure.
had the most success at.
Yeah, for some reason, we've been playing really well in Paris the last couple of years. We also had a finals of an indoor tournament at the end of last year in Paris. So that seems to be my favorite city at the moment, no doubt about that. But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, if you would have told me really at any point in my career that the first Grand Slam would have been the French Open or on clay, I probably would have laughed. You know, I like playing on clay, but it typically doesn't suit me as my to all my strengths. But I think as I've kind of matured and as a player and stuff, Yvonne and I as a team really connect well. And I think we play well in Paris. The conditions there are very unique where when the weather is good and it's sunny and a little bit warmer, the courts do play a bit quicker, which suits us. And we had phenomenal weather this year. Was 14 days of sunshine in a row. So worked out great for us this year. And I think the courts there, obviously, they're the best clay courts in the world, without question. So they're super thin and the bounces are great. The movement's not as difficult as some of the thicker clay courts can be. So yeah, we connected well there, and clearly it's one of our better tournaments for sure.
Yeah. So can you remember or explain what the emotions were like after last year's tournament and what happened last year in that tournament?
Sure. Yeah, the emotions were really devastating after the final. It was tennis is a unique sport where you can be on such a high going into the finals. I mean, it was the best tournament of my career by far at that moment. So obviously everything felt amazing. And then, 2 hours after the match, we, completely, crashed down and we're pretty upset, obviously, with having 3 championship points and not being able to win. It was a pretty difficult moment for us. But looking back on it, I think it was something we needed. It was a learning experience that everyone has to go through. And it doesn't necessarily have to be at that stage or anything like that, but you do have to have some tough losses. And I think a lot of times that's where the good stuff comes from. So I think that as difficult as the moment that was, I think it prepared us for later in the fall when we played some tough matches on big courts in Turin and in some of the bigger Master Series and 500s at the end of the year where we performed well. I think all that experience kind of accumulated for us, and then obviously going into this year into the finals, I don't think it really helps your nerves that much, but it helps you understand your nerves a little bit better and be a little bit more comfortable being uncomfortable. So I think it was a major help for us with going into this year.
With what happened last year, did you have this? I mean, of course, you have all Grand Slams kind of circled because they're Grand Slam tournaments, but was this one
Mhm.
especially kind of circled with maybe a little bit of redemption, or was that not on your mind at all?
Yeah, I think it was. I don't know if it was looked at in like a redemption type way, but I would say it was definitely a little bit extra motivation that we really wanted to finish the job because we knew we were right there, literally one shot away. So I think it was really special that it happened there. I mean, obviously, we would have, of course, loved to have won U.S. Open or Australian Open this year, but to have it happen at the same place that we had such a difficult moment moment was really something special. And then obviously, being able to be number one as well was bundled in with that. And it's still sinking in, but I think that's was a just an insane moment. And so I'm excited to be home for a few days and kind of enjoy that with family.
Yeah, the fact that y'all were able to kind of certainly not breeze through, but that it wasn't as in contention as it was last year. Was that did that make it a little bit more enjoyable? Were you able to kind of soak it in as it went?
Definitely. Yeah, I would say probably not until kind of late in the second set. But yeah, I mean, there's pros and cons to both ways. Obviously, last year was such a war in the finals that it was really fun to be out there and compete in that environment. I mean, that's kind of what sports are all about is being in that moment where you don't know which way it's going to go, and being able to kind of just trust yourself and lean on your skills and preparation and come out on top or not. So but it was great. I think this year, I think it helped us nerves wise going into the match and being able to execute a couple. It was a tough game, a 3-all in the first set that really could have went either way and possibly changed the whole momentum of the match. So to be able to get through that and then get a good break there and finish out the first set kind of helped us settle in. And yeah, I mean, obviously, we'd much rather have it go that way than to have a tough one and and go through all that as well.
Yeah, yeah. What is it about your game or the game that of doubles that you attract you to it, and also that your skill set seems to lend to?
Yeah, I would say, my skill set's a little more tailored for doubles. Just that fact that I play aggressive, I come forward, we serve and volley. Both Ivan and I are one of the few teams now, even that serve and volley on almost everything, first and second serves. So, I think that is obviously a bit more advantageous in doubles than it would be in singles to play that style. But it's the margins are so thin in doubles. It's kind of a different preparation style. It's a lot more specific than singles can be. So yeah, it's just different. I mean, it also you've got someone else out there with you, so you can work through things together. But at the same time, it's not always just on you, and so it makes it unique. And I think it's difficult in that regard in a way, and it also makes it a little bit more fun in some ways. But it's on and off the court. You have to get along with your partner and kind of connect. And it's a little bit harder to do than you would imagine for sure.
Sure. And then we'll end it with the easy ones. What does it mean? What are the emotions after you won the tournament? And then what does it mean? What are the emotions of being number one?
Yeah, I mean the emotions are crazy. Yeah, it was really hard to put into words that feeling at the end. We obviously worked so hard and have had so many ups and downs and difficult moments, not just in the pros, but in college and juniors. It's really a long journey to get to that moment and be able to finally put your hands up and hold the bigger trophy there is something that's hard to explain. So that was pretty cool. And then obviously being number one it's always been a goal of mine since I was a kid. I mean, sometimes you have to be a little bit insane to believe it's possible. And to have it come together there in Paris was a pretty special moment.
And then I guess one more too. What was the kind of reaction? What was the support from the A&M community when you won too, and the ties that you'll have there always as well?
Yeah, I mean it's exceptional. It's A&M's been a humongous part of my entire journey in life. I think it's still one of the best decisions I made when I decided to go to college and not just turn pro directly, but also to pick A&M. And I think they say when you go there once an Aggie, always an Aggie, and felt that from the first day that I stepped on campus there, and still feel that now. It was pretty special to have Coach Denton there pretty much for the whole tournament. I think every match we played, he was there, and in most practices and stuff. So to have Coach Denton's support and the whole Aggie community, it really was special. And yeah, I've still got my maroon on today. So
Have you gotten any gigums in weird places around the world?
I do all the time. Yeah, especially if you wear your ring around. You always draw someone's eye, and yeah, everywhere. Rome, Madrid. I mean, we almost every week there's someone in the crowd that's yelling gig 'em, and it's literally every week. So it's pretty cool.